Hey, good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna, and this morning, I am starting a series, a five-part series on Black History Month. Every day this week, I will be dealing with Black history and looking at it from a historical, political, and biblical point of view, as well as cultural and up to date where we are right now. And so that's what I want to deal with because it points us to at New Life we will be celebrating or the culmination of Black history on the fourth Sunday, the last Sunday of this month. And so our worship arts department has been working hard and having special guests on that Sunday. You can't miss it. Please don't miss it. It's going to be powerful. Pastor Tracy Blackman, who is a powerful advocate for the cause, excellent anointed woman of God that can exegete the text and make it a life and a real world, put it in real world terms, if you will, looking through the lens more often than not to those who are disenfranchised on the margins of life, and I really appreciate what she can do. Well, before I get into all of that, let me just share with you what I'm going to share today. Today is the biblical background of Black history, the biblical background of Black history. We're just giving you snippets. We're not going to get deep into things. So it's the text to talk and the takeaway. The text to talk and the takeaway. And as I said, we're giving you the biblical background, if you will, the biblical background of Black history. And not necessarily in that way, Black history as we know it as a part of American history, but how did we get to the place that we are in right now? That's the main thing. That's the main thing. So, how about the text? The text to talk, the takeaway. Here is the text in Genesis 9:25. Genesis 9:25, and it says this: He said, "Cursed Canaan, a servant of servants, shall he be to his brothers." This is the text that slave owners, Europeans, um, took and therefore used to enslave, using the scriptures to back up slavery. If we didn't have slavery, we wouldn't have Black history. Trust when I tell you, we just have world history or some continental type of history. But we wouldn't have Black history right we have it. And it begins right with this text, Genesis 9:25. He said, "Curse Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." What Europeans did were to use this text to say that because this is found in almost the Table of Nations, the next text chapter is the Table of Nations, and God is breaking down, or I should say, before then, we have him now. Noah is right after the flood. They are reconstituting the earth, and the Bible is giving us the backdrop of that. Noah, after coming out of the ark, gets a little too much wine, finds himself drunk and unclothed, and his sons come in, Ham and Shem, and then and Japheth come in, but Ham exposes him or does not cover him, and Shem and Japheth do. Well, his the result of that is that when Noah comes to, he says, "Hey, you're cursed. You are cursed. You're going to be a slave. You're going to be a servant um, to your brothers." And remember now, the text is telling us this is the beginning, if you will, the Hamitic people, the Shemitic people, and then also we have then Japheth, and we have those individuals who now comprise of the nations, if you will. So here we have this, and because we say, and we can take Canaan, the people who Cush, who now populate the African continent, uh, then European says this text proves that those from the African continent should be slaved or enslaved. Well, let's break that down. There's three main words that I want you to grab a hold of: the exegesis, hermeneutic, and etymology. Those are the terms or the disciplines by which we look at scripture. When we have an exegesis of scripture, it explains the text: who, what, when, where, why, and how. The hermeneutic is the application of that interpretation, and the etymology of it is the origin of that text. How do we get there? Well, when you look at that text, the first thing you see is that he does not curse the progenitor of the generation of the Hamitic people. He curses the son, Canaan, who is not even alive at that time. So you cannot curse a complete people, all the people, if you do not curse the progenitor of that people. The progenitor is Ham. But Canaan, who's not even born, is the one that he curses. Well, nevertheless, that didn't matter to people who decided they're going to enslave folk. So then you have to grab a hold of the fact, too, that when you have an exegesis to who, what, when, where, why, and how of the text, you also have to grab a hold of the fact that this text has no modern day application to now, but it's been taken out of text. Whenever it's taken out of text, then that's an eisegesis and not a exegesis. So it's been eisegesis, and whenever you take things out of text, you now have no context for you to then determine what is it really saying. The hermeneutic is the application of the interpretation, how one or another person sees it. Well, when you are in the position of the oppressor, you will see this text one way. If you're in the position of one who is being oppressed, you will see this text another way. This is the biblical background of the text. And I want to get this. I'm only going to give you this. You got to work with me, follow me all week long as we deal with a special Black History edition of Morning Manna, one of five today, simply the biblical background of slavery, the biblical background of slavery, and the era in exegesis, the era of hermeneutic, and the era of the etymology of this text, which then was used to enslave people with the same melanin skin that I have right now. Well, if this bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning as we break it all the way down to understand how we get to Black history. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. Bye now.